First, you'll look for edge pieces that have white on them, and they will either be in the bottom layer, like this one, the middle layer, like this one, or the top layer, like this one and this one. First, we'll focus on edge pieces that are in the middle layer because they are easiest to put into the top layer. And we want to put them into the top layer the correct way. Instead of putting it in with this side facing up, like this, we want the white side to be facing up. So rotate this side instead so that this side is facing up. Now look for another edge piece, which would be this one, and put it up next to the yellow center. Okay, sometimes a piece will be in the top layer, but it will be flipped, like this one, where the wrong color is facing up. Simply move it this side down so that it is in the middle layer, and then now you must put an empty space above it, because if we were to put this corner, this edge up, it would push this edge out of the way. So put this one or this one above it, right here, and then now you can move this edge up without affecting the other two white edges. Another case is the white edge could be in the bottom layer, like this one. In that case, do the same thing and move it to the middle layer, but make sure that there is an empty space above it before turning this side, else it will bump another white edge out. Now move it to the middle layer like this, and now you can put, since it's in the middle layer, put an empty space above it and move it up so that the white is facing upwards. That is basically how you get the daisy on top. You can see that it looks like a daisy with a yellow center and white petals. After completing the daisy, it is time to get all of the white petals down to around the white centerpiece. But we want to do it in the correct order. We don't want to just move them down because this color is not matching this color. So look for the edge piece that has the same color as the center that is facing you. In that case, it would be red. Now rotate the top until you find the red and white edge piece. Once you have found it, rotate that entire edge and center so that the white, instead of facing up, it is facing down, like that. Now you have these two matching and these two matching. After that, move the cube once and move on to the next one. In that case, it would be the blue and white edge piece. That's not it. There it is. The blue and white edge piece matching the blue center. Now move it so that it is facing directly downwards. Now move on to the next one, which would be the orange center. That's the green and white edge piece. There we go. The orange and white edge piece. Now move it so that it is facing down. And the last centerpiece, which would be green, move the top until you find the green and white edge piece, which would be right there, and then move it so it is facing down. Now there are no more white edges on the top. They have all been moved down to the bottom layer, and if you did it right, you should have these two matching, these two matching, these two matching, and so on, and a white cross on the bottom. After completing the white cross, hold the cross on the bottom layer, and now we'll focus on getting all the white corners up to the top layer. And we'll start by doing, let's start by doing this one. Put an empty corner, that is a corner with a yellow tile, directly above it, that's right here, and do this sequence, up, left, down, right. It's 4 moves, and it puts the white corner that was right here up here. Now turn the whole cube 1 rotation, 1/4 turn I mean, and do this corner right here. There is a yellow corner directly above it. Now do the sequence again, up, left, down, right. And now that corner is up here. Move on to the next corner, which is right here. And now there is a white corner directly above it. Just rotate the top layer until there is a yellow corner directly above it. So that's not one, but there's one right there. There will always be an available yellow corner to put directly above it until you're completely done. Up, left, down, right. And now that is all 4 white corners in the top layer. Hold the white cross facing down. All your white corners should be in the top layer. Now look at these 2 colors. Find the corner that has those 2 colors on it by rotating the top layer. That's not one. That's it right there. It matches these 2 center colors. Hold it on the right side and follow the sequence up, left, down, right, just like the last video. Now look down and confirm that it is in the right location. It looks like it is. Now rotate the entire cube and move on to the next corner. Rotate the upper layer until you find the corner that has the same colors as the 2 centers facing you. Now repeat the sequence up, left, down, and right. Make sure it is in the correct location and you can move on to the next corner. Rotate the upper layer until you find the right corner. Make sure it is the right corner. Up, left, down, right. Make sure it is in the correct location now. Move on to the next corner. Rotate the upper layer. Make sure it is the correct corner. Up, left, down, and right. Make sure it is in the correct location. And if you have completed all 4 corners, you are done with this step. Take a quick look around the cube and make sure that each corner is in the right location by looking at the colors on the corner in relation to the centers around it. Once you have gotten all the white corners to the bottom layer, same as with all the other videos, hold the cross facing down. It's time to move all of these non-yellow edges up to the top layer. For this stage, it may help to have a brand new or unscrambled Rubik's Cube nearby for reference. But if you don't have one, that's okay, just take a look at this one. As you can see, in a completely solved cube, all of the yellow edges are in the upper layer. Same with all the non-yellow edges are in the middle layer, right here, and here, and here. Now this seems a little backwards, but we're going to put all of the non-yellow edges into the top layer for right now. To move one edge from the middle layer into the upper layer, do this sequence. Up, left, down, right, twice in a row. Now rotate the cube and move on to the next one. It's important before doing the sequence, make sure there's a yellow edge right above it. To get a yellow edge there, simply move the top until there's a yellow edge there. It's as simple as that. Now this edge in the middle layer is already yellow, so you can move on to the next edge. First, make sure there is a yellow edge above it, which there is. Now do the sequence once and twice. And this edge in the middle layer is now yellow, so you can move on to the next edge. Make sure the edge in the middle layer needs to come out, which it does. Then rotate the top layer until there is a yellow space above it. After completing the sequence twice, check and make sure the edge in the middle layer got replaced with yellow, and you're done. Starting back at the beginning, start with the edge that's closest to you. Make sure it is not yellow and needs to come out. Then make sure the edge above it is yellow by rotating the top until a yellow edge piece is directly above it. Then proceed with the sequence up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. Make sure it got replaced with yellow, which it looks like it did, and now you can move on to the next edge piece. Make sure it's not yellow. It looks like it is yellow in this case, so you can skip this one and move on to the next edge piece. Make sure it's not yellow. It is not yellow. Then rotate the upper layer until a yellow edge piece is directly above it. There will always be a yellow edge piece to put directly above it until you are completely done with all the edges. Once you have gotten a yellow edge piece there, do the sequence twice. Then check and make sure it got replaced with yellow, which it looks like it did. So you can move on to the next one. It looks like this one's yellow already, so you can move on to the next one. If they're all yellow, you finished with this step. After getting all the middle layer edges up to the top layer, it's time to move them all down into their correct locations. And we'll do this one at a time by matching the corner and the edge together in their correct slot. You can call it a slot. As you can see with this partially solved, you'll work on one at a time around the cube until all four are solved. Okay, first step is to start with any corner and then look for the blue and red edge. That is the edge that goes here in the top layer. It will be in the top layer. Just rotate the top until you find it. Once you've found it, which is right there, make a tower by matching the color on the side with its center. If blue was on the side, if it was flipped, you would put it over on this side. But as it's red, it goes on this side. Now hold the tower on one side, on the side instead of facing you. And then move the edge so it's facing you. And then you'll look at the colors on the corner. And you'll complete the up, left, down, right sequence until this white tile is facing out. You'll have to do this 0 times, twice, or 4 times. So let's start. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right. This sequence seems familiar because I've used it for all the videos up till now, or almost all of them. And that was the goal of this series, was to use the same sequence for all the videos. Now after you have done the sequence twice, it appears that this white piece is facing out. So you can move the top edge back and do it twice more. Up, left, down, and right. And now that seems like a lot of steps just to create one pair, but that's as simple as I can make it. After that, move on to the next corner and do the same sequence of steps. Find the orange and blue edge that goes right here, and it looks like it's right here. Make a tower, which it's already in the tower. Hold the tower on one side. Move the top edge so that it's facing you. Do the up, left, down, right sequence twice or 4 times until the white sticker is facing out. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right. And after twice, the white tile is facing us. So do it 2 more times. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. And now it's facing out. That was 4 times. That's the max you'll have to do the sequence. Then move the edge back so that it makes the tower again. It realigns the tower. And do the sequence 2 more times. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. And you have your pair. Move on to the next one. Find the orange and green edge piece in the top layer by moving the top layer. There it is right there. Make a tower by matching this color facing out to its center. Hold the tower on one side. Move the top edge so it is facing you, and then do the sequence 0 twice or 4 times until this white sticker is facing out. As you can see, it's already facing out, so move the top edge back to realign the tower and do it 2 more times. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. Okay, what I've not gone over yet is the fact that when you match the edge up to its center to create the tower, it may turn out to be on the left side of the cube instead of the right side, in which case, by holding it on the left side, your up, left, down, right sequence that you are familiar with does not work the same. You can't do it the same way. So instead, by holding it on the left side, you just mirror that sequence onto the left side by doing up, right, down, left. And then back that out. So this mirror series of steps, move the top edge so that it's facing you, the same way you do on the right side. Up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, until the white tile is facing this way. And then move the top edge back to realign the tower, and then do the sequence 2 more times. Up, right, down, left, up, right, down, and left. After completing the bottom 2 layers, it's time to tackle the top layer. And the first step of the top layer is to get the yellow cross. Now, to get the yellow cross, you'll do the same sequence, up, left, down, and right, only you'll add a move like this, a face move, before, up, left, down, and right, and then reverse that move at the end. The first case it could be in is a bar or a line. Have the line so it is facing horizontally, hold it on top, do the face move clockwise, and then complete up, left, down, and right, and then reverse that original face move, and you'll get the yellow cross. The next case you could have is the L shape, which you hold in the upper left corner and do the same sequence of moves. The face move, up, left, down, and right, and then reverse the face move at the end, and you'll get the bar. The third case you could have is a simple dot. So hold this, however, it doesn't matter. Do the face move, up, left, down, and right, and then reverse the face move, and you'll get the L shape, and you can put it in the top left corner and complete it how you would complete the L shape. So in summary, if you get the dot shape, then do the sequence once and you'll get the L shape. Hold the L shape like this, do the sequence once and you'll get the bar shape. And if you do the bar shape once, you'll get the full cross. The goal by the end of this video is to get all of the colors on the sides of each yellow edge to match their center colors like this. This one matches, and so on. The first step in doing that is to rotate the top layer until just one matches. As you can see, none of the others match. If two match, like this case, where there's two matched and two not matched, then keep rotating the top layer until there is just one. Once you have gotten one to match, hold it facing you with the unsolved pieces in the sides and back, and follow this sequence: up, left, down, left, up, and then twice on the top, and then down. And that will match all of these edge pieces to their center pieces. Sometimes you'll have to do this twice, just do it 2 times in a row without moving the cube. You may notice that it doesn't matter how many times you turn the top layer when you're looking for just one to match, that 2 on the opposite sides always match. And that's no problem, just do that sequence that I just showed you once: up, left, down, left, up, left, left, and down. And then you can rotate the top until just one matches, and one will match. So in summary, this is what this stage will look like. With our cross on the top, we will look for just one to match. As we can see, there are 2. Rotate the top layer. There are none. Okay, we have a case where there are 2 that are opposite each other that are matching. So do the sequence once starting from any side, and you can start from any side. Up, left, down, left, up, twice on the top, and then down. Now, as you can see, 2 are next to each other, are matching, but the 2 on the other side are not matching. So you'll continue to rotate the top layer until just one matches. And we have just one that matches there. Hold that facing you, and do the sequence once: up, left, down, left, up, 2 times on the top, and then down. As you can see, it hasn't quite solved it, so do it one more time: up, left, down, left, up, 2 times on the top, and then down. And that gets all of the edges matching their centers. The goal for this video is to get all of the corners in their correct locations. First step is to look for one single corner that is in the correct location. So this is not one because the colors are not the same as the colors surrounding it. So move on to the next one. Same here. These colors do not match the colors surrounding it, but this corner is in its correct location based on yellow here, orange, and green is the same colors. With that in mind, hold this corner on the right side and follow this sequence. To the left, up with the right side, back to the right with the top layer, up with the left side, to the left with the upper layer, down with the right side, across with the top, and then down with the left side. And keep that in place and look for whether each corner has moved to its correct location. As you can see, it hasn't quite, so do it one more time. And as you can see, each corner is in its correct location now, even if it's twisted like these two. Here's a picture of what the sequence looks like. Sometimes, as you look around the cube, not even one corner will be in its correct location. That's okay, just start from any side and do the sequence once. And then you can look around the cube and there will be one in its correct location. The very last step basically involves the corners, and what it basically does is just rotates each corner. As you can see, each corner is basically just twisted in place. It's the right colors, they're just twisted in place, and you can have 2 or 3 or 4 corners at the end that are twisted. Okay, first things first is to rotate the entire cube until the white face is on top and the yellow face is facing down. And then just rotating the bottom layer, rotate the bottom layer freely until one corner, the first unsolved corner, is at the bottom right slot. And then going back to the old up, left, down, right sequence, do it twice and see once where that puts the yellow tile. If it puts it down here, then you are good. If it puts it right here, then you have to do it one more time. So up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. And as you can see, it has not quite solved it, so do it 2 more times. And there you have it. Is the yellow tile is facing down and these 2 corners match. It is in the correct spot now. Now just rotate the bottom layer again until the next unsolved corner is in the bottom right slot. Do it 2 times or 4 times until the yellow piece is facing down. And after there are no more unsolved corners, then your cube should be solved. Okay, 2 things that are very important. One thing is to keep this hand stationary. Do not rotate the cube up and around like this, else you will lose your progress or wherever you're at, and you'll have to start from square one. And another very important thing is to finish out the sequence. So make sure you do all 4 moves each time. Up, left, down, and right each time. Up, left, down, and right. It may be tempting, or you might forget to do that last right move, but that will also mess everything up. This is an example. Move the yellow face that is facing down by rotating the whole cube, and then holding an unsolved corner at the bottom right layer. Perform the up, left, down, right sequence 2 times and see what it does to the corner. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right. And as you can see, it hasn't quite put it into its correct orientation yet, so do it 2 more times. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and right. And that puts it into its correct orientation. So without moving the entire cube, just rotate this bottom layer until the next unsolved corner is in the bottom right location, and do the sequence twice and see what it does to this bottom right corner. See if it puts it into its solved orientation. Up, left, down, right, twice, up, left, down, and right. And it was only twice and it put it into its correct orientation. But we have some more unsolved corners down here, so move the next one to the bottom right corner. Do the sequence 2 more times, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right. After 2, it's put it into its correct orientation. Move the last unsolved corner to the bottom right spot. Do the sequence twice and see what it does to this corner. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right. And it hasn't quite put it into its correct orientation, it just cycled it once. Where it moved this, the yellow piece was here and it moved it to here. And as you can see by the next one, it will move the yellow piece to here, which would be correct. Up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and last, right. And then you'll usually have one more bottom layer move, and you're done. Here are some tips for making the most out of the beginner's method. This first tip involves making the white cross, and instead of making the daisy with the yellow center, you can practice making the cross directly on the white center. Now this presents a little bit of a trouble because you have to put the white and colored edge piece in its correct spot. So putting it in, you have to make sure green is next to it like this, because red, green, it would have to go red, green. This couldn't be any other color but green, so you'd have to put green up next to it. Even some of the same techniques from making the daisy will work on this, so that when you are putting in maybe the last white edge piece, you can just move the crossover, insert the white petal, I guess, and then realign the cross. And it's just like making the daisy, you're just skipping the step of making the daisy and making the white cross direct. Okay, so the most important thing I'm going to teach you is learning alternate sequences, and that is basically just like up, left, down, right, only do some modifications on it. So one modification you can do is learning the reverse of that sequence. So up, left, down, right goes like this: up, left, down, right. The reverse of this would look like this: right, up, left, down. Sorry, I said that wrong. It would look like left, up, right, down. And as you can see, it is the exact reverse of that sequence. So doing the sequence, it will put it right back to the solved state: up, left, down, and right. And be sure you learn the mirror side of this sequence, which looks like this: right, up, left, down. And you can just practice this over and over again: right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, and so on. Now another very important alternate sequence is the one that goes like this: up, right, down, left. And it's basically the same as up, left, down, right. As you can see, it's 4 moves, and you go right side move, up layer move, right, up, and the only difference is you're moving the top layer this way instead of this way first and back again. So this comes in very handy when you're in the middle of solving the first 2 layers and you're trying to pair these 2 up, and this white tile is facing you instead of facing out, and it'll solve these 2 with only 2 moves, and you don't even have to move this top edge over. It will just go like this. And it will pair them up. And be sure you memorize the mirror side, and that it looks like this: up, left, down, right. And you can just practice that over and over again. I'm going to tell you a funny fact, and that is you can do this 6 times in a row, and it will return to a perfectly solved cube. That's 2 times, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will happen with all the different sequences. Up, left, down, right will do the same thing. and that is 6, and it returns to the solved state. So if you have a solved cube, practice this on a solved cube. You can do it 6 times in a row, and it won't mess up the cube, and you'll gain practice that way. Now, reversing the sequences doesn't stop with F2L. You can move on to the last layer, and here's a trick for getting the cross. With the bar shape, you would proceed as normal. Face move, up, left, down, right, and then reverse the face move, and there you have the cross. Well, how about the L shape? Usually you would do the face move, up, left, down, right, and you would get the bar shape, and then you would do it again. Well, if you reverse the up, left, down, right sequence in the middle, face move, do the reverse of up, left, down, right, which looks like this, and then face move back, and you'll get the cross directly from the L shape. Here's another example of reversing a sequence, and that is when you're cycling these 3 edges around to get them to match up with their centers. You'll notice that sometimes you have to do it once, sometimes you have to do it twice. And okay, let's just look at this color, and they are opposite colors. If you do the sequence once, it won't solve it. You have to do it again. And you can see now that these are on opposite. Going back with these as opposite, then do the reverse of that sequence, and you'll be able to skip one sequence, and that will speed you up a little bit. So it goes like this, up, twice, down, and then this way, up, to the right, and then back down. And it will eliminate one sequence. Same goes for cycling these 3 corners in the attempt to get all of these corners to be in their correct locations. I'm going to tell you a tip. The sequence that you've learned, you only have to do it once when this corner to the left has 2 opposite colors and neither color matches. So it'd be yellow and the 2 opposite colors that there would not be any orange or green on this corner. I'm just going to give you an example. Do the sequence. And that's the spot it would be in if you only have to do it once. But sometimes you do have to do it twice, and what it's basically doing is cycling these 3 corners, and sometimes it'll have to cycle it once and then twice in order to get them all to their correct locations. And in this case, one of these is the same as this color, and for some reason the sequence just doesn't. You have to do it twice in order to get these corners into their correct locations. So what you can do is put this on this side and do the mirror of this sequence, which looks like this. Like that. And now all the corners are cycled basically the opposite way. Reversing the sequence even applies to the very last step, which is basically these last corners. And so here's a tip I've learned is when the yellow piece, which needs to go down, is facing away from you, then you do the sequence once, your regular sequence, up, left, down, right, the 2 times that you need to do it. And then when you rotate the bottom layer, if it's facing towards you, you do the reverse of the sequence twice, and that'll prevent you from having to do the regular up, left, down, right sequence 4 times. Let's see what the reverse sequence looks like. Up, right, up, left, down, up, left, down. And that basically just speeds everything up. I'm going to warn you, do not try to do a different sequence to solve this. Make sure you just stick with whatever sequence and the reverse of that sequence, else it will mess the whole cube up. Okay, that's it for modified and reversed algorithms. Here's another tip, and that is learn cube notation. And what that looks like is a letter represents each side. So this would be the R for right side, L for left side, U for up side, D for down side, F for front face, and B for back face. And a letter by itself means clockwise, and a little apostrophe after it means counterclockwise, which is read as prime. So it'd be R or R prime. And that represents 1/4 turn. I'm not going to teach you cube notation because I don't even know it very well, but here are some recommendations on videos that you could watch to learn cube notation. And last but not least is your hardware, and this is not too important until you get down to around 1 minute, and then you'll be fighting your old clunky Rubik's brand cube because you cannot do sequences very fast at all. So here's a recommendation. You can spend a couple dollars and get something like this, where it has nice corner cutting, and it's called the D-Fantix Cyclone, and it's like $10 on Amazon. It's really cheap. I promise I'm not sponsored by this video, else this would be a lot longer.